and we just go in order. Hello and welcome to Mando Night Live. I'm Candace from the Geeky Walpa, and with me are...
Hi, I'm Maggie from Let's Talk About Star Wars and the Star Wars Friends podcast, and I'm choking currently.
Don't do it, Maggie.
I'm Arzu from the Geeky Waffle and RZD2.com.
Oh, that's me. Hi, I'm O Katrina from all things O Katrina around the internet.
I'm Laura Kelly. I'm the co-host of Force Toast, a Star Wars Happy Hour, and The Jedi Way on YouTube.
I'm Magdowell. I'm from Utini and Project Stardust.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I am Mo from at Triad of the Force podcast.
Okay, and we're talking about Chapter 16, The Rescue. Okay, just one word. Anyone want to sum it up with one word? Can they? Can they?
Speechless.
Wow.
Exhilarating.
Screeching.
Okay, so should we just go straight into it?
Oh, yeah.
Go
Yeah.
straight into it. Okay, so we open up with... We actually see Boba and Slave One do something cool and be like, okay, I get why you're a bounty hunter. And they just take that Imperial ship down. And who's there? Arzu?
Dr. Pershing's back! My boy, Dr. Pershing is back. I was so happy. He's not a hologram this time. He's like there and human.
My first thought was, Arzu's going to be so happy.
Me too.
I was
Okay,
so happy.
And
I love Pershing in space.
And since we have a certain character in there, just want to say trans rights are human rights. This is the way. And our GoFundMe,
Yes.
less than $500 to 19,000. Let's get to 19,000 before we end it on Sunday night. So
We're almost there.
You can do it.
yeah,
Good job, everybody.
yes. So they get they get Pershing, and who do they get to see?
Sam Witwer. What? Was that not Sam Witwer?
Where's Sam Witwer?
Yeah.
The bad guy in the shuttle. If that wasn't Sam Witwer, he was doing a really good Sam Witwer impression.
That
The
wasn't
pilot.
Sam.
No, who was it? Who was evil? Who was it?
Who was it?
Some
That
random
yelled
guy.
at Kara.
I don't think that was Sam Witwer.
No.
Oh, Purple Ganger.
Oh, that's
Okay,
awesome.
now I'm gonna have to go to IMDb.
Oh, I missed
Now I'm
something.
gonna. Okay, if I'm wrong, I'm gonna be really upset.
But I mean,
I
to be
swear
honest,
that's him.
Sam
Well,
Witwer
I'm a
was
little
really
disappointed
happy
it's
on
not
Twitter.
Sam Witwer.
Like, he was really
Yeah.
happy on Twitter, so now
I'm
gonna
in a
have to
good
go
mood,
check.
he says, but like, there's nothing else, and I feel like it would be everywhere if it was him.
I feel like people
Sure,
would have
that was
freaked
Sam
out.
Witwer. I'm not
Yeah,
going
probably.
insane.
You're
I was
going
listening to his
insane.
voice and I was like, no, that's Maul.
No, he
Okay.
just got evil. He's just
I'm just
evil.
gonna have to check.
Okay, no, now I'm on IMDb checking too, so I'm just gonna make sure.
Okay, so what I want to know is how did Din find Bo-Katan? Like,
He was just like, they're always eating. They're probably in that.
they're in a
Just
bar
going for a
somewhere.
cantina somewhere.
Did he have any way to track the ship that she had taken?
I don't know.
Maybe they exchanged numbers before they left. And he just like called her up and was like, hey, where were you?
You know what? She had that gigantic ship that they stole, and Cara Dune has like connections now to be able to find stuff through the New Republic. So maybe that was
Because
it.
she's a cop.
I don't know.
She also wanted him to like get back in touch with her to join our cause. So maybe
That's
they
true.
did exchange information.
Yeah,
He had her number.
Brain somewhere.
and
Whole number.
yeah, can we talk about how many burns are in this one scene? And like, Koska's like, oh, we
Well,
didn't know
let's
they.
talk about this scene. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
let's
have
do it.
lots of thoughts.
We
Okay,
have so many thoughts
yeah,
about
but
this
they're
scene.
dirty, thirsty thoughts about Boba Fett.
Okay, yes.
Okay, but the
because-
burns are good too. These things can coexist.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So Koska says, I didn't know sidekicks could talk. And I'm like, girl, you're a sidekick too.
Yeah.
Technically.
She doesn't know she's a sidekick.
In her story, she's the main character.
That's
Yeah.
true.
There's a headcanon that counts.
And I love Boba calls her little one, but they're like eye to eye.
Look, he's a short king, and that's
He is a
he's
short
5'7"
king.
royalty. He's the king of my heart. So
He's our short king.
Okay, and this one I literally went burn when he's like, "Don't you mean your donor?" when talking about Boba's father.
That was so mean when she said
That was
that.
so
Like,
Mean.
That was so mean. I was like
Yeah.
disappointed. I was like, oh, come on.
But I
I
also
think
She's
it
love
was
old and I
it.
love it.
I've been
I
with a
love
lot
the
of
film
Clone
because
Wars.
it connected so nicely for people who like aren't super familiar with that lore.
There's been a lot of Clone Wars connections hitting my head regarding like the Mandalorian and especially Fennec as of recent, because now we know she's interacted with the Bad Batch in some way or another. Like she's going to be in that show, so it's always interesting. In the back of my mind, I'm like, what? How does she see Boba? Like, whose face does she see when she looks at Boba? And like that kind of concept was also introduced with Bo-Katan, where she was like, "I've heard your voice 1,000 times."
Mm-hmm.
So it's like little connections.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's a good voice.
It was an Agent of Shield bad guy.
Yes, exactly.
That's
yes.
what it was.
Oh.
He was. I guess Luke Baines was who. Yeah. So that's where I know him from. He's good at what he does.
Tyrion. Already starting tonight with this space racism. So the whole way that they get Bo-Katan on board is it's Gideon. She needs Gideon. And she says that she needs to get the Darksaber back. Which is interesting.
And they keep mentioning the Darksaber, and yet Din still.
Din forgets what it
He
is.
doesn't know what it is.
Care. That's not what he's here for, you know? The Darksaber could very well be like a hammer and he'd still be like, fine, I'll get it. Just like, let me get my son.
Yeah. I just need my baby.
He wants his son so bad he's not retaining any information.
Okay, here at the Geeky Waffle,
Everything else, forget about it.
we say Din is a himbo. And I feel like this episode completely confirmed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a gorgeous
himbo
dummy
energy.
who is sweet and perfect, but he can be just such a dum-dum so much. Like in the last episode, calling him up beforehand? What kind of move was that, Din?
The speech he gave him was pretty nice shade, though. I have to say, like using the same speech that Gideon gave him was a pretty.
That was such. I just love this image of him being like, "I'm going to write all of this down, and in a few weeks, I'm going to be repeating it to you."
Yes. And
Well,
like
between
Boba
last
Fett-
week and this week, he had somehow shaved his mustache. So he's in the bathroom, shaving his mustache, reciting this to himself in the mirror,
yeah.
like practicing before he calls Moff Gideon.
There's I guess there's a lot of room for like cosmetic upgrades in Boba's ship or something. Like I haven't seen any updated versions of the Slave One's interior, but like the bathroom must be great because Din had his whole makeover, and then Boba's like armor got repainted in the
He has
middle
a
of it.
crafting room. That's what he decided. So he's got like his little paint set up.
I mean,
All
what
the
else has he been
rifles.
doing for 5 years?
True.
Fair.
So
Practicing his painting skills.
what did you guys think of like Director Pershing just like selling out the
Loved it.
empire like instantly? He's like,
Loved it.
here's all the
Confirms
information.
everything I know about my boy.
Yeah. It made me-
He doesn't care. He's not loyal to the empire. He's not loyal to any one thing in
Anybody.
particular. He's loyal to science. He is loyal to his academics, and he knows what they're doing is wrong, but he also knows they're the ones paying him. So he'll do the work because he studied cloning. So like, who else are you going to work for, really?
Yeah.
Like he probably grew up like in the Clone War era, like where cloning was like the big industry to study. So he studies this at university, and then
Make
the
his parents
Republic
proud.
falls, and he's like, "Well, I got to use my degree somehow because he's a space Persian and he doesn't want to disappoint his parents." So he goes into medicine anyway. And then by the time this show starts, he's just like, "I know what they're doing is wrong. So if I have the opportunity to sell them out, I will." And
Yes.
he does.
We love him for that.
We love him.
He-
for that. We
He
truly
also
do.
like fulfills that like trope from spaghetti westerns of like the doctor who's been taken on by like the bad guy, and then he finally gets the opportunity to be like, "Oh my god, this has been terrible. Let me tell you everything, and I'll treat your injuries."
He just flips like a pancake, and then they like kind of forget about him for the
what
rest of the
happened?
episodes.
He was taken out.
Is he okay?
I constantly forget where he's gone. Like I've watched the episode twice, and I don't know how. Like
He's
I
in
guess
Boba
he's
Fett's
in the
crafting room.
Painting to calm down.
He's doing some therapy paintings, just like painting a happy little tree.
And Boba and him are just chatting somewhere wherever
Yeah.
Boba
Yeah.
went.
He's just
I
painting a
will-
little
I will-
Camino
yeah.
Ocean trying to calm down.
Wait, Boba Fett's actually Bob Ross. So he's just like
Yeah.
doing a job.
Pershing
it's-
is
it's-
Teach you how to paint.
They both
It's-
worked for the Empire, so they probably got some stories so they can share their trauma of it. You know?
Yeah, there you go.
They use art as a PTSD management. They meditate.
exactly.
Like I can see it.
Cloning and being a clone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
That's
fascinated.
stuff to talk about.
I love
So-
the idea that he would have stayed on the slave one, but I think he was on the shuttle, so he's just like tied up in the Imperial shuttle somewhere. I don't know.
The
It's
one
like,
that
I'll
went
just-
Maybe they
crashing.
let
I'll
him
wait
take the
for you
shuttle and
guys.
just go home. Like maybe that's all he did.
So what did
A
you
little
guys
anticlimactic, but maybe that's all that happened.
what did you guys think of the plan that they have, the four of them go ahead
I loved
and
it.
kick some ass. And that was
Feels
something
good.
that
Feels organic.
so I absolutely hate the Marvel scene in Endgame where all the ladies get together
Hate
and they're
it so
going to
much.
fight
Yep.
in a big battle because it's so pandering
Yeah.
and it's not organic
Fake.
at all.
It's not.
Yeah,
it
it's
feels
doesn't feel.
forced.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah.
really
Because those
forced.
women
Just-
don't know each other.
yeah,
That's why.
exactly. And they're
Like,
just
until
like,
this
oh,
moment, they haven't worked together. So
oh, you got boobs? I got boobs. Let's go fight Thanos,
Stand together
together.
somehow.
What's up with that?
They made for a really great gift, though.
Yeah, exactly. So powerful. Girl power. And so I posted on Twitter about this, about how we had 4 women, even though one of them sucks, fight together. And 2 of them are 40 plus and 2 of them are women of color. And like so many people, especially guys, were like, oh, I didn't even notice this. Yeah, because it
was done well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it
was
was
halfway
based
through
on
the scene before I noticed. It was great.
Yeah.
it was entirely based on Din's insistence that he go alone to get the baby,
Mhm.
and so there was no other way for another team to form. That was the default.
Yeah.
So,
And I
Yeah.
love the theory that was the reason why like Axe Woves wasn't like available. Like he wasn't hanging out with Koska and Bo-Katan so that they could have that moment, but it feel organic.
mhm.
Oh yeah, this is something else also I would like to talk about. I think Maggie, you talked about this at Star Wars Friends yesterday.
Yes.
So
What were you thinking?
yeah, Bo-Katan and the girls, they're on the ship ahead, and Boba's pretending to like fire at them, right? Pretending, right?
Make it look
And-
convincing.
Yeah. So Maggie, tell people the issue with this.
So Bo-Katan is the one that's like, Mayday, Mayday, we're having a problem. Like, we have to land immediately. And you're like looking at Gideon's face. Gideon's like, I know that voice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't you let
Loyalty.
Koska talk or like
Fennec.
somebody,
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
anybody else? Like, why did it have to be her talking? I felt like that was like too obvious.
Mandalorians don't think things through.
They don't think.
No.
There's a long history of
Do
that.
not think things through.
Mandalorians are
Big ones.
pretty but stupid. A lot.
Yeah.
And they fight good.
They're just like this is the way, whatever it is, and just do it.
Yeah, and
What
Axe
am I doing
was
right now?
Axe was the other night owl.
Yeah. So, we get to see the Dark Troopers. We find out that they're droids, which is
Terrifying.
interesting. So scary.
hmm I was really excited to see these because I am a huge fan of that little mobile game that was out for a little while, Star Wars Uprising. So in a way, I had seen like the prototype that was like right before this like finished Dark Trooper, and so as soon as I saw them, I was like, "Oh my god!" And then that's why last episode I was having a whole episode over the mention of Bernard Khan. So it was like a nice connection between the 3 stories.
And they're terrifying.
Yeah.
I was watching this alone at 3:00 in the morning. The rest
No.
of it was pitch dark. The only light was the TV. And then they do like the up close of the Dark Troopers. I'm like, I need an adult. I need somebody else in here. Like, I need all the lights on. This is really scary.
That music was enough to distract me though, because I was like, ah, ooh.
Ludwig went with the music this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was also like, if you think about the prequel droids, they're like humorous and silly and
Mm-hmm.
Roger kind of thing. But like these guys,
No.
They're serious.
they're up in
Oh, no.
nightmares.
I just keep
But-
saying they're screwed. They're screwed. They're so screwed. They're gonna get themselves snapped in half by these. Like,
Or punched in the face.
yeah.
Oh.
Look, okay. I have things to say about this.
Not his
I was-
face.
So
But,
nervous.
Right?
Anybody who has seen Game of Thrones knows that Pedro Pascal should not be around anybody who is stronger than him and punching his face. It doesn't go together. So I was very,
wanna
very
think about
nervous,
It was such a gross.
especially because he had the spear too, and I was just like, "This is war flashbacks. I can't do this."
Oh no.
Mhm.
I thought the same thing too, but I guess it's a
Yeah.
glass Beskar.
yeah, that's a good
It's
question.
like
why.
like plastic glass or
Valyrian
something,
steel.
you know?
But
Yeah.
blaster
Or
shield glasses.
Dragon
Yeah.
glass.
We find out his jetpack is made of Beskar too, because well, you know,
Go
this
big or go
guy.
home.
Can
Terrifying.
I say he is the scariest Star Wars villain to me? Because he's
One
willing to
hundred-
threaten a baby.
Mhm.
Gleefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a little too happy about it for my taste most of the
When
time.
he was
Yeah.
waving it over the top of his head, I was like, "Stop it!"
Yeah.
Don't shave, baby.
Yeah, I was expecting to see like little hairs like pop off his head or something.
I was like, yeah.
So scary.
Cameo.
Oh.
Scared.
Baby.
Yeah, he doesn't like when Baby Yoda's in trouble. He was actually Bucky was just doing the same thing. He was reaching out.
Oh.
Where
Like
his
Grogu
daddy.
was when he saw his father. His little arms lift, and he's like, "Dad,
Like,
Daddy, come save me!
come pick me up.
I'm scared."
I'm scared."
Yes.
Okay, again, can we talk about how dumb Din is
Yeah.
for believing Gideon? Because Gideon says, let me get my notes up. Gideon says, assume, I love he says, assume I know everything, which is so creepy. And because he seems to. And he says the child is blessed with great properties to bring order back to the galaxy.
Yeah, this is another example, I think, of Din being a little bit of a himbo, that he totally turns his back. He like has his
Yep.
back completely to Gideon. It's like, my dude, come on.
My only thinking is that because earlier in the episode, Bo-Katan says that the Darksaber can't cut through Beskar, he was just like, "I'm fine. He can't get me. I can turn my back." And I'm like, dude, you also have soft spots, like your arms. Like you have like complete patches of flesh where there is nothing protecting you. So what are you thinking?
He's not. That's the issue.
he's not thinking.
So
No
then
thoughts,
they
head of tea.
fight, and it's awesome.
I really enjoy this duel. I thought this was really well done. It was really short. I could have done with a
Yeah.
little bit long, like a little bit more lightsaber action or dark saber action from Gideon, but I really enjoyed this duel.
Yeah. I was really excited about it because a couple weeks ago, Giancarlo Esposito had talked about like how he had trained for this and like what he was going to be doing. And so I was, as soon as they started fighting, especially because Pedro already knows how to handle like a staff weapon and a sword. So he's been trained in that formally. And so watching it was really fun. It was very like classic Star Wars too. So I really enjoyed the choreography.
It was so good.
We lost
My favorite
Carson.
thing is trying to identify the three different people in the helmet, because you can kind of tell sometimes when it switches between, and I love watching that because it's so seamless unless you're like really looking to see like the moments.
Mm-hmm.
I love like the small detail of like the Beskar like turning like red. Like I was
Yeah.
like heating up. So I was like, oh, it's like then feeling the hit, like
Yeah.
the
and
intensity of the
sparks.
fight every time. Like,
But look at this picture and look at all of the weak spots. Like go for the sides. Like
Oh
he
my
has
God.
nothing there. Go for his like elbow.
Well, something that we notice that Dent does, like in the tragedy, is he'll move his shoulders, he'll move
Mhm.
his body around where he's armed,
Too.
so they take the brunt of it.
Mhm.
So that could be something that happened, but yeah, maybe Gideon's really smart, but he's a himbo about certain things.
it's just not doesn't know how to fight.
He goes, I know that I am a tank. I know how to use my tank self.
So Din defeats him.
Pretty
And like
easily.
you said, it was really short. It was kind of surprising, like how short that was. And so he comes in, with a baby
Oh,
in one
and
hand, a sword in the other.
the look on Bo-Katan's face,
Oh.
I could not. I was like, "Oh,
This
she's gonna
face?
kill you.
This
She's gonna
face?
kill you."
That's the face that you run from, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's so funny. He doesn't even walk in proud. He walks in so tired.
He's just like, I got my kid.
half limping with like the sword in his hand. Like, I got everything we needed. Like I got Gideon, I got the baby, I got the sword. Can I please go home? Like
And
This
then he has
is
to deal
the
with
future
this.
we want. We want to have a man with a dark saber and a baby in one arm. Just
Mhm.
like this is life.
he makes
Yeah,
me
he
want
can
to
be our
settle down
leader.
and start a family.
Right? I was like, oh, hello, biological clock. Where have you been?
TikTok.
A sword and a baby. I mean, that's the thing. That's the root.
That's
That's
all
all
I
it
need.
takes.
Like yeah, you know me and swords.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the dark saber and what we know about like how Bo-Katan got it originally was Sabine stole it from Maul's like little like creep dungeon thing, and he had like pictures of like Satine who he murdered, like he was a stalker, you know.
Yeah.
And there
He was
was
a
the
stalker.
dark saber. He was a stalker. He was the Obi-Wan stalker.
Yeah.
We love
So-
it.
Yeah, so she grabs that and she goes and she gives it to Bo. And Bo takes it, but this time around, she doesn't take it.
She's
Do you
like,
guys-
nah.
Do you guys have theories why she refuses to take it this time? Oh, go for it, Arzu.
Okay, so my theory is she took it from almost at Sabine that one time, and then becomes the ruler of Mandalore, and then loses Mandalore, loses her throne. The Mandalorians are scattered. Everything goes wrong. So I think even if she wasn't totally sure about the story of the Darksaber, like you have to win it, like she may not have thought there was anything in that. Now she does, because she didn't win it and everything went wrong. So I think now she's hesitant to take it again because it's just going to repeat the pattern of behavior. Somebody else took it for her, even another Mandalorian. Somebody took it for her, is giving it to her, and if she takes it, it's just the cycle's gonna perpetuate. And I think that's what she's afraid of. So like now she puts stock in the story where she may not have before.
I
Yeah,
thought
she feels.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
She feels like she has to prove herself somehow. I mean, think about like how much she's tried to win and lost multiple times at this point. She's probably just like, if I don't go all out now and get this thing that I deserve, then bad stuff is going to keep happening to me.
Even though there's a whole empire and war breaking out, but yeah, I can see her like thinking that way. Also, I think the fact that she lost it to Gideon is a big thing.
Yeah.
The fact that she even just lost the Darksaber at all means that she has to fight for it back.
Mm-hmm.
I like this point. I didn't like that line either. At all.
I didn't even know there was like a payment for it.
Yeah, I felt really creepy about that. I was like, can we stop with this like bad cop thing? I don't like it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she smacks him
Oh,
around too. He's
yeah.
in cuffs. Not that he doesn't deserve it, but still, she's supposed to be an officer.
Well, what do they think they're going to get out of him? I mean, we saw this one Imperial officer earlier in the season have his, like, electronic tooth or whatever it is. I mean, Gideon's got to have something like that, too.
Excuse me. I'm trying to do
Man
something.
was ready to shoot himself in the chin. Like he's not going to talk.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
so
was about to off himself.
So what
Yep.
Gideon says is the Darksaber doesn't have any power. It has a story. And I said, like, on Pink Milk yesterday, it's like Excalibur. Like, it's, Bucky, I gotta get something. Like, he sees my hand and he's like, why are you not petting me? So, can we talk about, like, look at his face right there.
Oh my God.
He lost it.
I can't. He's having the time of his freaking life.
I love the screenshot so much.
I know. I stopped for a second and he's like got popcorn and watching the drama unfold.
Can I just like yet again say like
the
how
best thing.
happy I am that he is like getting the screen time that he deserves on a
Yes.
television show?
Yeah.
Because like I've been a fan of him since that one TV show where he was just the magic mirror, and it's so great to see him flexing his acting like prowess, and he's so good, and he's
Yeah,
so good at being bad.
He's so good at it. He's
He
the
is something
best villain.
So wild prediction, because before last season I was like, yeah, they're gonna bring in Cobb Vanth. And then they brought in Cobb Vanth. So I'm putting this out into the universe. The person who's gonna get Gideon out of Republic clutches is going to be Ray Sloan.
Oh,
Please.
Boom,
Yeah.
get it out there. There we
bring
go.
her
love
in.
that.
Bring her in.
From your lips to Dave Filoni's ears.
There's this video of Dave at like a red carpet where like I've just clipped this one part. I've forgotten all the other context from the video, but it's him going at the looking at the camera like this and going, "Well, never say never." And I just keep
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
Dave.
keep that in my head and go like, "What's my wildest goal with Star Wars?"
I love that so much. God, I would love to see Ray Sloan.
Me too. Live action. Oh,
This is
go on.
amazing.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I totally agree. I want to see her too. So the Dark Troopers come back after Den aliens them out in airlock, which I thought was pretty cool because I was like, they're over, or maybe they're just trying to subvert expectations with that.
Yeah.
They're just so easily defeated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
again-
a lot of,
But no.
oh, that was easy.
Did you guys see how excited Gideon was? He's like, oh, they're coming.
My babies.
He's so giddy.
So proud.
He
He's like,
puts the Gideon.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
like,
I-
everyone will be dead, but me and the child. Peace. He's just like,
During that whole bit, my dad was like, well, maybe they should just shoot him. I'm like, it's not going to make a difference. He's like, yeah, but at least they'll make him a liar. I'm like, okay.
I like his
that
dad.
will be true. I'm like, but why? And he's like, I don't know. But I just, yeah.
see, this is why Kara is useless as a bad cop, because if she were a really good bad cop, she'd have turned around and shot him when he was talking too much. But
Yeah, I would have shot him. He was annoying me.
yeah.
Indiana Jones it, you know?
Yeah,
He's talking too much.
But they like weren't even watching him well enough that he got a blaster and shot Bo-Katan.
I was like, y'all are not watching your prisoner at all.
You guys are so
They were
bad at
watching all the
this.
drama unfold. They were all like,
I love that all these people came to save the baby, but I would not leave the baby alone with any of them.
Honestly, even Den, my
it's a
beautiful
miracle
idiot.
that kid is still alive.
That
They
was
love it.
like my mom at the end of the episode was like, it's probably a good thing that the baby went with someone else because it's no life with Din. You're like constantly going to get killed.
Have you met? Okay, let's go into it. Okay.
Oh my god.
So the Dark Troopers are pounding at the door, literally, and we see an X-wing fly in. Well, I thought it was like, oh, is Dave coming?
I thought it was the other guy.
I
I
thought
will-
it was going to be Carson and
Yeah.
Wolfie, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wolf.
Yeah.
But then the moment Kara said, "Oh, only one X-wing," I was like, "Oh, I know who it is."
My mom, who like is not a big Star Wars fan, she'll watch them with me. As soon as that X-wing appeared on the screen, she went, "It's Mark Hamill." Like she knew instantaneously.
It's not even Luke Skywalker. It's Mark Hamill.
Exactly. It's Mark
Like,
Hamill.
"It's Hamill." And I was like, I sat bolt upright and I'm like, is it? And then like I loved how they didn't show you the color of the lightsaber at first, and you just have this cloaked figure. Because like my first thought was, could it be Ahsoka? Like maybe
Yeah.
she like felt them in danger and like came to rescue them. And then I was like, wait, that's only one lightsaber. Oh my god, it's only one lightsaber,
Okay,
and they're fighting like
I-
Anakin.
Saw the green lightsaber.
Yeah.
And I thought it was my boy Ezra, guys. I really wanted
Aw.
Ezra so badly.
Oh.
I forgot to ask for this screenshot, but it was even when it was still in black and white. It was that belt buckle.
I was
Yeah.
going to say the
Under
belt
wraps.
buckle and the
It's-
Chanel boots
yeah.
were the other giveaway.
Yeah, those boots.
Until I saw the
Fashion
glove,
The
I thought they were
glove,
gonna
yes,
like
the
do a bait and switch,
glove.
like we're supposed to think it's Luke, and then it's not. But then I saw the glove and then the belt buckle. Like I guess after that, I'm like, it's never mind. It's,
It's
gonna
Luke.
be Luke.
And the
And
way
my
that he
concern
fought.
became who's playing Luke was my next concern.
Oh yeah, I was like, please don't be Sebastian Stan. Please don't be Sebastian
Oh, no.
Stan.
I can't. I'm sorry. Okay, so
It's not that bad.
I messaged Arzu and Maggie, and I was like, I didn't like it.
I was so nervous. I was like, oh no.
Oh yeah, Maggie's like, Candace, are you okay? Because she knows like I'm a huge Luke Skywalker fan, like from my childhood. I wanted to marry Luke Skywalker when I was 9. Then I found out he was a fictional character and actor was old. So my
Oh
heart
no.
broken twice.
Double whammy of disappointment.
Just my 9-year-old heart just broken. So I was just like, it took me a little while. I had to get over the uncanny valley of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How do you feel now?
It's okay. It's okay.
I will say that the CGI has gotten significantly better than Rogue One.
Yes.
Yes.
Tarkin haunts my
For
dreams.
sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was just watching Rogue One the other day, and like the difference between what they were able to do with Carrie versus what they were able to do with this time around with Mark on a TV budget, which I don't know how much that was, but assuming it was less than a Rogue One movie, so yeah, good. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
Speaking of Rogue One, can I bring up how Luke, in several shots while he was taking down those droids, like that was the Vader.
The Vader scene. Yeah.
I know that. I was like, he's fighting like his daddy. He's fighting like his daddy.
And some people had issues with that again on Twitter because that's where all the drama.
Well, that's Twitter.
Um,
I was so happy.
Guys, can you believe there's fan service in Star Wars?
Can you believe that the character that's been around since the beginning might be connected to something that we actively know that he was doing? Finding Jedi?
when there's like 5 Jedi in the entire galaxy.
Like,
No, there's
connected
3.
to that at all, I would understand the frustration of bringing in Luke Skywalker. But like, we all know that at this point in time, all Luke is doing is looking for Force-sensitive kids.
Yep.
That's his 9 to 5. That's his hobby. That's all Luke is doing.
Yeah.
So
He
of
hasn't
course,
changed
when
his
a
Force in 5
Force-sensitive
years.
kid, somebody come pick me up. Of course, Luke is going to go pick him up. Like
That's all he
I
has.
get hesitant with fan service, but this is all he's doing. So why wouldn't it be?
Not doing it. Like she's doing
She
her own,
doesn't want to do it.
and she's on her way to Thrawn. Like she's on her way to.
she's
Ezra and
either
Thrawn.
trying to find Ezra with Sabine probably or something.
But I will say, sorry, in the recap when like you see Ahsoka say again, like, "Oh, there's not many Jedi left," and I was like, "Yeah, you should call them. Like,
Get together.
give them a
Check
call.
out each other.
They're still out there. You could just, hey, just checking on you. You know."
Do we think that Ahsoka and Luke, like, do we think they've met?
I think at some point they do. I feel like, especially right now, with what Ahsoka's mindset is in the Mandalorian universe, she may be very aware of Luke and Leia, but she may not want to meet them yet
Because she knows of them because she found Rex and was like, "Hey, buddy, what's up, dude?"
Yeah,
Might be
Other than
epic.
hanging.
Yeah, be like, "Hey, I'm alive," and he's like, "You keep dying."
yeah.
It's
So I
stressing me out, Ahsoka.
feel like she's very aware of them,
He
but
puts a
like
tracker
she's
on
got
her.
that like attachments thing still going on.
Yeah.
And
I
I
also
think
feel like she'd probably be like, do I want to get involved with another Skywalker?
too.
In my
Like,
life.
yeah, 2 of them.
20 now.
Plus,
Oh no,
all
there's
are.
2 of them.
Plus we all know like there's no like space psychiatrist at this
Yeah,
moment.
they
So
need
like
space
to deal with
therapy.
like they need like space. Like we can't.
Therapy blocks exist at
Yeah.
this time, Shannon.
They should- yeah.
They should go
There's
see
no
that.
therapy,
They should
so
all
you just
go
have
see
to be-
therapy.
we will not have the sequel. Theoretically. Therapy.
So
If
I know-
Anakin had
be
gone to
golden.
therapy, we wouldn't have a franchise.
Completely
If
different.
Anakin had just been allowed to talk about his feelings, we wouldn't have had a franchise.
yeah, if the Jedi weren't a cult,
They just weren't great about communicating your emotions and stuff.
okay. So a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's fan service. We're getting controversial here. It's fan service. It's predictable and all this kind of stuff." And I looked on like Facebook and I looked at my friends who aren't like huge, like aren't crazy like me. Like they haven't read all the books. They haven't played the video games. They probably don't even know there's video games. They've only seen the movies once, but they absolutely love this. They said like it made them feel like a little kid again. It was just like a great moment. It brought up all this nostalgia and like, is there something wrong with that? I don't feel like there is.
Absolutely.
I
not.
feel like
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. It's so funny you brought that up because like my dad messaged me this morning and like he told me like verbatim how excited he was this week as both a Star Wars and a Star Trek fan because apparently Discovery dished up some really good stuff this week. Don't spoil it. I haven't seen yet. Hold on, I'm going through our conversation being excited. There we go. He said that last episode of The Mandalorian was epic and the ending scene sure gets my sci-fi heart pumping along with the 2-parter on Discovery. A sci-fi fan's life is good for home viewing at least.
I love that. My mom was so excited too. Like she was like, she's like, I've never really felt connected to Star Wars like past the original trilogy. She's like, I've seen all of them because like I'm annoying. Like she's seen it all, but she was like, she's like, I've never been so excited to see like a character that I know that character. So it really did make me excited for people who probably have gotten disengaged from their own love for Star Wars because it has been around for 40 years. And like for me, I am not like super attached to Luke Skywalker like at all. Like I think I'm on record saying that I did not want him to be the Jedi that showed up. I was rendered speechless for almost 2 hours because I talk a lot. And my mom kept being like, are you going to talk? Or like, are you broken? Like I was so excited, like just seeing how they handled it and how they brought it in and how it just like it fits so perfectly. Then I logged on Twitter and everyone's like, it's fan service. And I was like, but Luke is literally looking for children. And like as an expanded universe, like child of the EU, like he did look for force sensitive kids even back then. So it felt like it's 5 years past Return of the Jedi. Of course we're going to see Luke Skywalker. And they brought Mark Hamill's face in to do it.
Yeah, they brought Mark Hamill in. He did a really great job with the voice. That sounded like a young Luke.
I love how Mark Hamill now has like a Mark Hamill voice and a young Luke Skywalker voice, because there's a huge difference too now that he's like, I guess, had practice than when he did the spot on like Forces of Destiny as Luke. So I loved it. And I'm like, I have my cynical judgment moments and stuff with Star Wars. It's fine. You're supposed to put the stuff you love to like the test on certain levels, but like it was a joyous occasion. I'm not expecting a Luke Skywalker CGI series out of this. I'm expecting that like next season somehow Baby Yoda's gonna come back and
Luke's gonna be like, he tried to eat another student. Can you please come pick up your son?
My friend said Ben Solo having to room with Grogu is the origin of his villain story.
He's eating deviled eggs like all the time.
Yes. Just eating the eggs, stealing Ben's cookies, not sharing. That's why Ben went to the dark side, she said.
One of the things that I noticed in this scene especially was the way that R2 interacted with Grogu, which was not only adorable, but it made me wonder if they had met before, know?
That's what it might have too.
I feel like they probably have. Like it was like excited. Like
it
was like they were jumping sideways and Grogu like kind of like I remember you like. And they
saved him. What if he like stowed him away inside of him? I'm sure he's taller. Like, hey, so my owner is gonna go crazy and kill everybody. So quick, kid, get in here.
Get in my belly.
Get in my belly.
Grogu was just chilling on the ship inside of like R2's stomach in like on Mustafar while like
while Padme
like yelling going on outside, and R2's like, it's fine, we're gonna get you out of here.
He's playing some white noise on the background, be like, don't listen, kid, don't listen.
Well, R2's kids are being born, and he's just like, he's got a little stowaway, it's fine.
I love it. Yeah, I love that interaction between them, and like, because Grogu was at the temple and stuff, so very likely he and R2 could have crossed paths.
Even if R2 doesn't know Grogu, I feel like Grogu would know R2, because like Anakin was a war hero, so if they're trooping through the temple, like Grogu is starstruck because he's probably seen R2 before. Even if like R2's never met him, he's like, I know you. Okay, if you're with this guy, then it's legit.
Okay, but what happens when Grogu finds out that Luke's related to the guy who did the massacre? He's calling Jenna. We made a terrible mistake. I think this is a cult.
Hey, I'm ready to come home from summer camp. Yeah?
All the kids here are so mean.
Like, you didn't even get the name and like address of the kid.
He didn't ask for the information.
Such a himbo.
How is he gonna find his son? He doesn't know what summer camp he's at. He's just gone.
I feel like in Din's defense, he did just get his head beat several times. Like his ears were probably ringing. He was probably just like.
That reminds me, my mom went to the wrong Girl Scout camp to pick me up from summer camp because there was 3 of them and they all had Native American names, and she just got confused and she went to the one like on the opposite side of the state.
Oh my gosh!
Oh no!
Oh yeah, so yeah.
It could happen.
But yeah, okay. So let's talk about this moment.
Don't do this
Oh
to me.
no.
Sorry, but we have to.
Just
That's the whole point
tears.
of the show.
Those tears, just tears.
Oh.
I love that
I love him.
he also like chafed before like coming in. Like it was like it might be the last time I see my baby, so I'm gonna just make sure that I'm shaved and ready for this scene.
So I really wonder if we'll find out in the Art of the Mandalorian book for season 2 if they filmed both Peyton Reed episodes back to back, and that's why his facial hair is different. Because we learned in this season or last season's Art of the Mandalorian book that they filmed a couple episodes where like all the same characters were in it at the same time.
Oh.
So it might have been since Bo-Katan and like Koska were all there again that they just filmed both episodes with Peyton. So he probably had, because it looks like pre-mustache.
Right.
Like he's going into the mustache for the next episode because they didn't shoot in order the first season.
That makes total sense.
So we'll come back to this when the book comes out next year, and we'll see if I was right on this theory.
But it was I was crying.
Oh,
It made
yeah.
me cry.
Oh my
Oh
god,
my
so many
God.
tears.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely crying. Because I had just spent like 10 minutes screaming my head off. Like I've never said the name Luke Skywalker so many times in like a consecutive order. And then like as soon as that like emotional beat hit, it was so
And the
much.
music, the way the
Yeah.
music dropped, I was like, no, like this is not fair.
So mean. It's so mean. And I just like every time, because I watched the scene about 4 or 5 times now, and each time it just like punch in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about this scene too is like you notice he's like there and he's letting Grogu touch his face and he's like holding him and everything before he passes him off, but he's like closing his eyes, but he won't let himself cry properly till Grogu can't see the fact that he's crying.
Yeah, he tries to smile at
He wants
Grogu
to like
while
be
he's
brave
leaving.
for his son, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Again,
he wants
reminds
to
me of
cry,
summer
Grogu's not
camp.
gonna go. He doesn't want him to know he's gonna miss him, so he's like, "It's okay, buddy, be brave, like go." And then as soon as Grogu's out of like range and can't see his face anymore, then he starts crying, which is like such a parent thing to do. And it was just that's what got me was the minute you see those tears in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
If you want more quality father content, watch We Can Be Heroes. Comes out on Christmas Day. Pedro Pascal is beautiful in it.
Oh, this face. Okay, so what did you guys think of him taking off the helmet? Maggie, Arzu, and I have talked about it and how that was our one wish for this season.
We knew this was coming. There
Yeah.
has been merchandise with this exact moment on it for sale the entire season, and none of us, well, 3 of us knew that was coming.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
really liked it. I'm glad that they did it twice this season. Since it was just once last season, it kind of makes sense that we would get a little bit more Pedro Pascal face time in this season. Just to, yeah, I thought it worked out. I kind of predicted, I think, that we're gonna get more than one episode this time, and I really like how easily the helmet slipped off in this moment. It felt very right.
Yeah, it was earned too.
yeah,
It
I
was
think
like, oh, here's
He did it for his
Pedro.
son.
I think a lot of this season's criticism about Din not having a plot line completely ignored the fact that he spent this whole season learning about Mandalore. Like through Bo, through
People are
himself.
complaining about that. I'm sorry, they're complaining
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
him
like,
not having
it's
character
not-
growth.
I wrote a
Yeah,
whole article
What?
about it. I wrote a whole
Yeah.
article about it. His arc this season has been the most emotionally satisfying arc that I have seen in a Star Wars project in years. It is
Yeah.
so flawless.
It's like right up for me. It's right up there with like Sabine and the Darksaber and coming to terms with her family. Like that emotion and like feeling like it's earned.
yeah.
There's not a ton of action in like somebody learning about themselves. You can't make an action scene out of somebody learning.
mean
So
it's
you
a
have all
filler
the other
episode?
action happen around him that in a way sort of pushes how he feels about himself, how he feels about the way he grew up. Like things have to happen around him for him to consider his own worldview.
Mhm.
So I think that's what this season was about.
Well, that's all those filler episodes that people skipped.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Sorry, filler episode. No point
This
at
is
all.
the favorite character trait of Din Djarin's that I have. We have so many characters in Star Wars that are like stubborn and petulant, and Din Djarin is not like that. He's a little bit stubborn, I guess, but he's very willing to learn. We see this multiple times that he's willing to accept help and he's willing to learn, and he seems to remain open-minded for the most part. With the exception, I guess, of this sort of, upbringing of never taking your helmet off. But even then, we're seeing a little flexibility in that
And
now.
he's very respectful. Like he'll learn how to speak to the Tusken Raiders. He'll like try to adapt. Like he's very like he's good about everything except his self. He focuses on everything around him, but not himself. And this season, he was able to focus on himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's only going to continue in season 3 too. Now that he
Mhm.
doesn't have a quest and he doesn't have his creed, really,
He's gonna be
So-
lost, like completely
Who is
unmoored.
he to
I'm
himself?
like, is he gonna
So-
be like living on like Boba Fett's couch, just like really sad?
Like,
Oh,
But like, you
God.
know, that's the whole thing. Is like when he met Bo-Katan and the others, he found out he like was raised in a cult, literally.
Mhm.
Like it's not like, and there's these different factions of Mandalore, and that he's willing to like listen and work with them and take off his helmet in front of not just his child, but the stranger Luke Skywalker and also the 4
Everybody
people behind him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bo-Katan's just gonna see that face and be like, I can't fight that. I can't fight that. That's
I
Pedro
really-
Pascal's face.
I
I
know
just-
that like they ended it for like drama, but like I so badly wanted somebody to be like, you were hiding that?
Yeah, how dare you? That is a crime to hide that face.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how Din reckons with like what this means for him and like as a Mandalorian, because I feel like he's not like, as much as I'd love for Din and Boba and Fennec to run around and be a trio because they are an amazing trio. I do see him maybe going with Bo and Casca and them to like
Yeah,
figure out what's going on with Mandalore.
Yeah. I also like vainly just want him to go back to Sorgan and be like, hey Omira, I don't wear my helmet anymore.
I can take all kind of armor
Broken.
off. Oh. No, also he goes back to Tatooine just for a quick trip with Cobb Vanth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes a new family. Just
I love the Mandalorian because as far as ships go, this is one of those shows where it's everybody with everybody. They're just everyone's so attractive.
I know, I shipped in with
can't help
everyone.
it.
Literally
Everyone.
everyone.
Yeah.
Okay,
everyone.
speaking of ships, this is
It's
something
not.
that we have been shipping for a while since the tragedy. And here they are.
Listen,
Oh my god.
We call them Bonek.
It is fun. And they are the ship of dreams.
They
I
are.
love them.
they're so beautiful, and I love them so much.
I have a really funny story about this because I jumped into the chat after I finished the episode and I was like still like not speaking. So my mom just turned off the TV after it ended. And I jumped into the group chat and Arzu was like, you're way too calm. Go back and watch the end scene. And so then I was like, I grabbed the remote from my mom and like turned it back on. And then I was just like,
See,
Maggie,
no,
did
I
you see
was
the post-credit scene? Because you're
So
really
good.
calm.
I was crying.
She's like, what post-credit scene? I'm like, okay.
I was crying and I let the TV keep running and then all of a sudden I was like, what? What's happening?
Yeah.
Like get me out of my humor.
That was so good. It was, and it's such a like. I love how much story was told in like that
Yeah.
one shot where it was like it's 5 years later. Bib Fortuna has taken over Jabba's palace and like built an empire of his own, and now it's over because Fennec shot him.
Can we talk about the fact that Fennec goes in first?
Yeah.
And then Boba slowly like strides in. And they plan this. They plan this out
Yep.
for the drama.
It was choreographed.
Yes.
yeah.
And
that's
I love it.
Dramatic power couple, and we love
It's
it.
such okay, and I love that she is sitting higher than him because she's on the arm of the chair, and this power dynamic is like everything to me because I just love it.
Mhm. I'm really excited where this is not only as a ship but as a concept going
Yes,
to go.
it's so good.
I had like as soon as I saw this, and I tweeted about it earlier, but I immediately thought of that episode Bounty in the Clone Wars where it's Boba's first big time as a leader.
Yeah.
And yes, we have Boba and Fennec here, but I just have a feeling about the Ballad of Boba Fett, or the Book of Boba.
I do love that.
Yeah.
Let's change it. Change the name.
I like the ballad better. Yeah.
I have a feeling about it, and it's that like I feel like he's gonna be putting together a crew, you guys, for like some kind of mission, and
Yes.
that was the immediate like thing that jumped into my heart.
See, what I'm thinking is a book. Like he has a book of a list of people like he needs to get back at it or something. You
Mhm.
know? And he's like gotta cross that list, like you
Yeah.
know, Kill
I
Bill
love it.
style.
I got this down.
I also like
Big
definitely
Fortuna.
got like again loved the expanded universe, and I thought of Ventusfell or Centisfell, the Boba the bounty hunter that Boba Fett ended up married to. And I loved that dynamic because I just love like two bounty hunters just like criffing things up.
To me, I don't know why it reminded me of like this like really the old game Conquer's Bad for a Day. Like it ends exactly like that. Like just sitting like I did this, you know. I'm the king now. Like and then you have like the queen just sitting there just being badass. Like I got my drink, I got my
Yeah.
Yes, they are two separate shows.
Yeah. I'm
Can
very
everyone please stop stressing out?
Well, I know. It's like, it's a lie. Pedro is not leaving this part.
Stop
No.
listening to somebody.
Right. Who
Stop listening to that person on Twitter
is
whose
consistently
predictions
wrong.
are always wrong.
If anybody else sends me screenshots from her Twitter feed, you are going to have to pay for my blood pressure medicine. I can't take it anymore. Stop.
No more.
No more. She knows nothing. Legitimately, I've been on a set when she was reporting completely fictitious information, and literally everybody on set like despises her. She knows nothing. No one's feeding her information.
Yeah, when directors like literally call you out and say you're making up stuff, then you got problems. But so do you guys think like season 3, maybe like Bo-Katan is definitely, especially if it's going to be Din with that Darksaber.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you're probably just going to keep trying to give it back to her. Like,
Like
I
hot
don't
potato.
want it.
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to be like, trying to reclaim Mandalore and he's kind of in the thick of all these Mandalorians, then it's really going to be Din sort of trying to figure himself out where he fits in all this too. So I think that's his next natural step.
Do you think she
I
could
think
just
that
like...
there's a couple of storylines that they have to tie up, and I think that's sort of the big one. What happened to Dr. Pershing is another one. What are we going to do with Gideon is another one. Like season 3 had to happen, and it really does need to be a separate thing from Boba Fett. So it never occurred to me that it wasn't going to be that until people started talking about it on Twitter, and I'm like, wait, did I misinterpret everything? The answer is no, I didn't, actually.
Yeah, no, because if it was the 3rd season, they would have said The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like this one's going to be like a limited run series,
Yeah,
maybe
just
a
like
4
Obi-Wan.
episode like yeah.
Well, that was like with the Disney Investors Day, we learned that Lando was an event series, that Ahsoka was a limited series. And so I like you said, Katrina, I feel like this is going to be like potentially like a 3-week event series, and then you have The Mandalorian starting on December 25th, because I know a lot of people were like, it's really weird that we're not getting Mando in October because technically production's on schedule, but it makes sense that they're going to do something before and then flow into it, because we also get the book. We also know that like there's a lot of other stuff coming, so I think they're just trying to merge everything together nicely.
And we're definitely going to get Bad Batch before everything else.
Yes.
So that's
God,
got
I
to come
hope
out.
so.
Which will probably inform us on stuff about Fennec
Yeah.
for her role in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
We have to be getting something earlier in the year, right? Like we've got all this news of what's going to be happening in December. I'm like, I'm going to need something before
to tie it.
December.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
think
thinking
the Bad Batch is already made and done, because
That's what I thought too.
when we interviewed Kevin Kiner back on the Star Wars Friends podcast, like middle of the summer, he was almost done scoring it, which means it's most likely done.
Yeah.
So
if he's
maybe
already
like a March
scoring it-
release.
Yeah, if he's already scoring it, that means
I could
that...
see a
Yeah. Go for it.
I could see a February or like a March, like Clone Wars was, where we have Clone Wars and then we round into December with like Boba and Mando.
Maybe May the 4th, even though hopefully there's no Jedi in this, because I want some stories without Jedi.
I want to know if like maybe like even Boba and Fennec's connection is even deeper already, where like they met as kids, you know, around that time, because I mean, if we just go off of like Ming-Na and Tamura's ages, she's only a couple years younger than him. So
But
they're
I
around
think
the same.
Boba's only supposed to be like 40.
Is she older?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
she's
think
actually
Fennec
older.
in the Bad Batch trailer, Fennec looks at least like late teens, early 20s, just based on like how she's drawn. So maybe she's like a couple years older.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the voice of Mulan voicing a Star Wars character?
It makes me so happy. Mulan was my favorite princess growing up.
I'm so happy to see that like Because I remember during season 1, I was like, "There's no way she's staying dead." Like
Yeah.
Star Wars,
This
Star Wars has done this to me a lot of times with women characters, but like the way
Especially
she
women
died,
of
the fact that
color.
exactly,
Mm.
the way she died, and the fact that someone was walking up to her, all of that was just like, no,
Yeah.
this isn't just a hint at who that is. It's a hint that she's not done.
Yeah.
And so it's so nice to go from this character who was in one episode to this character who is now in 3 different shows and will be in a book and all this other stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I do love the idea that they like knew each other and maybe like they were rivals before, and he's just like chilling in Tatooine and he walks up and he's like, "Hey, that's Finnick." If you think about it, like even if they're like trying to make Boba like a more moral, like genuine bounty hunter and not this like mythical badass that men have tried to make him out to be for the last 30 years. That would give a reason for why he put the effort into literally saving her life with cybernetics. So it would be really nice if they like explain that in the Bad Batch.
I love that about, not to like derail too much, but I love that about Boba in The Mandalorian.
Ooh.
We see it's what Clone Wars Boba was. Like he tried so hard to be tough all the time, but he got attached to so many people, and you saw it in his eyes, especially when they betrayed him. Like Aura Singh, Bosk, Dangar, even Ventress, like he had like a crew, his found family, and so now you see those like soft bits of like, I feel like you're loyal to me, and so I'm going to take care of you, and then I'm going to kill these like 20 dudes over here in a really badass fashion.
Yeah,
and I love that Boba Fett.
That's how they converted me. Like on my YouTube channel, on my first video talking about Mando this year, I was like, I don't want to see Boba Fett. Like I genuinely do not want to see Boba Fett. Like if it's Tamora Morrison, then yeah, I'll be fine with it. But like I don't want to see Boba Fett. I have zero interest. And now I'm like, so Boba Fett spinoff when?
I know. If you told me a month ago that I would be excited about that.
I bought
Also-
a Boba Fett t-shirt. This is a first for me.
Also, I was not excited about Bad Batch until they announced Finnick was going to be in it.
Yes.
I
Well,
will
they
admit.
talked about Luke Skywalker, and then they showed me Luke Skywalker. It's like they're hitting
I
this.
spent the entire like first episode after the Boba Fett reveal. I'm like, but what if that's like Rex? I want that to be Rex because I don't want it to be Boba Fett. I don't want Boba Fett in this show. And now I'm like having arguments with people online, ride or die for Boba Fett. So I'm like, what just happened?
That's
I
what
love
good
it.
writing can do. Good
Yeah.
writing, good directing, good acting can do. They can put life into a new character.
I think because if he had come back and he was that like cold-blooded killer Boba Fett, I would have felt like it was disjointed and like not good writing from canon from like the character that he was in Clone Wars, you know?
Fan
That would have
service.
been the fan service.
Yeah,
that people really
exactly.
complain
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
If they made that fake boba, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't.
Are you guys ready for our last baby Yoda news?
I'm
of
not ready
this
for it to be
season?
over.
I know. Well, we're gonna still keep reporting, but okay. So there's like we were talking about, a lot of talk about how bringing Luke Skywalker back was fan service, right? So
Yeah.
we actually found out that Mark Hamill came out of Luke Skywalker retirement because they needed to get Grogu off the set somehow and write him
He's
off
been
for at
such
least
a
a few
diva.
episodes.
He was asking for more screen time. That's why they ended up not having him in last week's episode. It's just been chaos on the set.
Yeah.
What a
So
diva.
he walked off set. It was very well. He like waddled. He can't walk really fast.
Was
So-
it a fit because he can't fit into the Chanel boots? Like, was that what set him off?
He
He
just
doesn't
wanted
get
a
a
bigger
wardrobe
role.
change.
Yeah, he's been in that robe forever. He's even
He's in
grown
the
up on
potato
it.
sack.
Mhm.
And I
Even
mean,
Din
Din,
got new
look,
armor, but
they let Din wear a new set of armor last week, and he wasn't even allowed to be like in the episode. So he's not happy, and unfortunately, like his manager hasn't been able to work anything out for him. So
I think his manager is just him and glasses and a mustache. He needs to get like proper representation.
careful.
Oh yeah, here. Well, that's his lawyer. And this is his publicist. So yeah, I'm just pretty sure it's him and a bunch of costumes. I think he's too cheap to actually like hire someone. But that
There's only
goes
that one
in-
outfit.
Yeah, again, yeah. So
And
that goes
paid in
into
chicken nuggets.
Exactly. So yeah, he was really upset. He wasn't in last week's episode, so he's been like texting with George Lucas.
Mhm.
And he's like, hey, you did special edition original trilogy. You need to do a prequel special editions because apparently I was in the prequel time. So he is asking, he made his own concept art for the scenes where he's in a bunch of major scenes. I know. So he wants to be, and he also wants to, like, we talked about R2D2 maybe saving him, but this is what he thinks happened.
I mean,
I would also think that happened if I were Baby Yoda. I too would fantasize about driving away in a Corvette with Bail Organa. So.
I would also like to request that I be photoshopped into a car with Bail Organa.
Also, he wants, like, to be in, like, all the major scenes, so he wants to be the flower girl at their wedding.
He's so cute.
That's so adorable.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, as long as they don't, like, replace it.
Complaints. I get his complaints. I mean, I see why he wants to be retroactively added to the prequels.
Yeah, but, like, some of the stuff, like, the scenes that he wants to be in, like, don't make sense. Like, he's just sitting there in the Jedi Council, like, drinking broth. Like, it does not make sense for the story. And I don't know.
You know what? Maybe I'm out of line, but I think I'm on board for this retroactively putting Grogu back into the prequels. I'm going to join his legal team.
Oh, okay.
I think I need to step aside from podcasting for now.
Yeah.
And really make sure I make this happen.
Yeah. But the problem is he really likes Attack of the Clones. But he wants to be in both the Obi-Wan scenes and, like, the Anakin and Padme scenes. That just creates problems, you know? Like, he can't be at the diner and also on the board.
Okay, but picture this. He's sitting in the diner, and, like, Dex's diner, and he's just, like, chowing away. He's just eating in the booth behind Obi-Wan, and he's there. I think it could work. I think this is something that we should help him pitch.
You know what? Make it like a Stan Lee deal where, like, he has his own singular scene in every single movie, and he's just Grogu, but, like,
just
now
he's
Grogu serving a latte, you know?
He's Grogu sweeping in the background.
Yeah, Grogu's sorting through some stuff at the Jedi Library while Obi-Wan walks through with the librarian lady.
Yeah, the thing is, he wants to be, like, the star of the scene, though. Like, like you try telling him that this ruins the romantic scene of their date, you know? Like, Luke and Leia are not going to be bored now, Baby Yoda.
That's okay. He can replace them. He can be the baby. He's baby
now.
Both of them. He can be Luke and Leia.
True.
He thinks. I obviously don't think it's going to work.
So, yeah, I think it could work, maybe. I think I think people would pay money for this, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I
would pay money
love
for a special edition that changed nothing except this shot.
Yeah.
With him just, like, poking out in front of the camera right as Anakin's walking in.
He just, like, rushes out. He's like, I need a ride, Bale. Take me somewhere.
Bale's like, let's go.
He's just, like, chilling in the room when what's her name? The one that says Slimo. I'm blanking on the character name. When she shows up to kill Padme, and he's just, like, climbs out from under the bed, and he's like, "Hi, what you doing?"
I love it.
I love it. I
So,
mean,
okay,
I just
The poisonous bugs that Sam Wessel sends in. Like, he's the real hero of the scene.
Yeah.
He just, like, picks it up and, like,
He just
swallows
eats
it
it.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I saved her. But do you guys think, because Baby Yoda, Grogu, he's literally everywhere. He is on shoes, underwear, hats, you know? He is merchandising. Yes, exactly. So he has to be in season 3, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Entirely from a marketing perspective, yes. Baby Yoda needs to be in season 3.
And look, if we've learned anything from season 1 of The Mandalorian, everything that is said and done comes back in the following season. The last, I think it's like the second to last thing that Din says to the child is, "We'll see. Like, I'll see you again. Like, it's fine." So like we know that. I think was the cue to the audience. Like, don't fret.
Yeah.
Like next
Kids, calm
Christmas,
down.
we won't break your heart.
And I feel like the heart of the show is really about like a father and son.
What's the Lone Wolf and Cub? That's the entire premise of the show. This is that part in the spaghetti western where the kid goes off to train with the great master, and then we'll come back to save his father. I mean, that's the entire like. The Mandalorian is very predictable because it is both a samurai film and a spaghetti western. So
I'm just now imagining Grogu like wielding the dark saber, protecting his daddy, and it's cute but kind of scary.
Grogu's Mandalore.
We gotta
Hold
give
on,
him a little dark saber
yeah.
dagger.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
big.
They have a tiny lightsaber that was taught him how to make, just like a real little one.
Like a tiny lightsaber, just like
He's got two of them, and he's like this. He's like,
Yep.
like chopstick sized sabers.
I feel like Sean's telling us some like insider information right
oh
now.
my god, that's what happened.
Move over Bob Iger and Bob Chapek.
He's actually, his name is Bob Grogu.
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 The Grogu line.
Third Bob.
Okay, so anything else about this episode or the future of the Mandalorian? Just a lot of feelings, right?
Yeah, a lot of
A lot of
emotions.
feelings.
Yeah.
It's really a really beautifully done episode.
For the next like 52 weeks, I'll be hanging out in the Boba Fett Finnick archive of our own tag. It's filling up. Like we've been watching this since the tragedy.
Yeah. When there was like 3, there was like 2.
There are 10 now. I definitely didn't check just before we logged in.
And
There's
also,
10
you guys
fics up there
definitely
now.
didn't write like most of them, right?
What?
I don't write fan fiction. I only read it. What are you talking about, Candace?
All right, fanfiction.
Nothing. Just keep drinking. Oh, she's gone. She's gone. Wait, did you do that on purpose, or was it actually a tech? Okay, I wasn't sure if it was a tech thing. Okay, can everyone tell us how to find you? Maggie, can you go first?
Yes. Now that I'm not choking, you can find me on Twitter at Maggie of the Town. I'm also over on YouTube at Let's Talk About Star Wars, which I just turned into a podcast as well. So you can catch the episodes that I record for YouTube on Apple and Spotify. I also write for Your Money Geek. I'm managing editor over there. Lots of Star Wars content. And I also write for Dorkside.
You can find me on Twitter at Arzu You can also find me at my own site, arzud2.com, which is mostly a Star Wars book review site. I also co-host the Geeky Waffle with Candace, and I write on the blog as well. I just had an article go up today that I'm extremely proud of. So I'm
It's
going
so
to put that
good.
right now. All about like Star Wars books and all the information that's like in there that should
How
have
it
been in the
changes
movies
the
but wasn't.
sequels.
Read it.
Especially with the sequels and how most of the important information is in the books. I also host Beyond the Blasters Live on Wednesday nights on YouTube.
Hey. I'm Katrina. You can find me anywhere if you look for Katrina, OHCATRINA. I'm writing short stories over on Medium. I host with my friend Kayla Y Tu Banta Tambien, a Star Wars podcast from a Latinx point of view. And hopefully soon you will be able to once again view Looking for Leia as soon as we find a new home for it, of which I assisted produced.
And I just tell you, I need that because that's going into my dissertation for my grad degree. So I need that.
Yeah. Someone call Annalise Disney and buy Looking for Leia, please, for Disney Plus.
It's fantastic. Somebody really should.
Somebody should really pay some money for it and keep it forever.
Yay. I'm Laura. You can find me at my handle down here on Twitter. I'm at shutup_Laura. And you can listen to my show, Force Toast, a Star Wars Happy Hour, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, and then find me over on John Roca's YouTube channel on The Jedi Way.
If you would like to call me a shill, like 6 people on Twitter have today, you can follow me at MagDowell, where you can find pretty much all of the things that I do. At Utini, we kind of specialize in showing you around the Star Wars Expanded Universe. So if you want to get into the books, we have like 9 podcasts now that are like all different like gateways into anything like in Star Wars that you're interested in. There's probably some kind of book or story that's going to get you in and get you more information. Things that the shows and movies don't tell you, because there's a lot. And also Project Stardust. We are doing content over there about representation and for underrepresented voices by underrepresented voices in Star Wars land. So find us there.
And I am Mo, 1/3 co-host of Triad of the Force. We are a group of 3 Boricuas, Puerto Ricans. We get together just to discuss Star Wars from a friendly and diverse perspective. And thank you all for letting us be here. So thank you.
Yeah, it was so much fun. And remember, guys, trans rights are human rights. This is the
Yes.
way. Our GoFundMe. We can do it. We can get to $19,000. I know people wanted 20, but let's just say 19 and be happy. And that's it. You can find me at geeky_waffle at it's thegeekywaffle.com. And we'll be back January 9th for we got our waffles after dark.
Whoa.
Oh my
Which
god.
you will need a YouTube account because we're making it 18 plus because I will let Maggie and Arzu get super drunk.
What? I'm tuning
Nice.
in.
So
This sounds fun.
That
Yes,
sounds
come back and join us.
It's gonna
I
be
will.
it's Star Wars edition, Star Wars shipping, and Star Wars
We're
all the
fashion.
chaos.
fanfic. We're talking ships.
We're talking craziest
And
fanfic
no filter.
reread, craziest pairings. It's gonna get syrupy. It's gonna get real. It's gonna get buttery.
Love it.
Don't-
We're gonna
I'm trying to
butter
get
that
pizza.
waffle.
But yeah, so thank you all for joining us. May the force be with you. This is the way I have spoken. Baby Yodas.